Hello, everyone.
Hello, Mr. Long.
How are
Sorry
you
for
today?
yesterday. I was assuming, according to your voice, I was assuming it's Mr. Zui. Sorry for that.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Your voices, I don't know whether it seems to me similar to Mr. Zui. So I thought Mr. Zui was speaking. We even met at when we visited.
Vietnamese name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't have my last name is Nguyen. Everyone here is yeah, it's Nguyen.
Yeah. We haven't met it when we visited the Vietnam petroleum plant. So yeah. Okay. Once Mohan joins, we have some questions regarding the in the process. We are reviewing. We are going through the process flow document, which is you updated there. So we have some comments there. We'll clarify that regarding the LIMS SAP document. We have some. We want some more clarification on that. So we'll discuss that also. So, but yeah, we'll start with the demo, LIMS demo. Today we are going to because of the we thought that you will also have a lot of questions, and we'll also have some questions regarding after we once we give the clarity on the section of the different parts of section of the demos. So we have splitted the demo into two part. We'll have one part today, and like today we'll like split it into 2 hours meeting. So probably 1 hour 50 or 20 minutes will be a demo. Then we'll have in demo plus the question answer regarding the section which we are going to explain. Second part, we will be explain. We'll have the question which I have mentioned. Two things. One is LIMS SAP document questions, and another is process flow questions. So that questions will discuss further, and then we'll close the meeting. And tomorrow we'll have another session where uh, we'll have a second part of the demo where we'll explain today we'll cover two things. One is user profile creation, the roles assignment, and the documentation upload, and yeah, documentation uploadation. And tomorrow we'll have discussion on the whole request creation, sample creation, info card, info fields, and yeah. So is it clear, Mr. Long? Today's agenda?
It is clear. I'm translating to my team right now, and then just 1 minute, and then we're back.
No problem.
Hi, Davan. Can you record for today demo and then send us via email for us later?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. So we can start now.
Yes, we can start. I'm
Okay.
recording the whole meeting, so then later on, if it is required, you can upload it. Yeah, Mohan will start. Yeah, Mohan.
Okay, I believe you all can see my screen. Uh, is it a positive confirmation whether all can see the screen? Uh, Mr. Zui, can you able to see my screen?
I can see your screen, Mohan.
I can see your screen now.
Okay, thanks for the confirmation. So let's begin with the login thing. So as like we shared the credentials of this particular RDNL. So I'm in this particular application server dot on it. So if you open the edge, so we added a bookmark for this Op Center RDNL. So the moment you trigger this particular bookmark, you will be prompted for asking for the credentials. For now, I am logging through a admin credential. I'll explain what is credentials here and what is users, but I'm just logging, for instance. So this is the same credential which I shared with you. So I logged in as an administrator here. I stated the word administrator. So let's begin with try understanding what is a user in the context of Op Center ODNL, and we'll go with the demo. So in simple terms, a user is an individual who interacts with the system, whether it's someone developing the creating the request, managing a request, or modifying the request, modifying the samples, or whoever it is. In our terms, manager, lab specialist, and lab receptionist. So those who interacts with the system is a user. What is it? So in every action, RDNL is tied to a specific user identity. This allows the system to enforce access control, workflow routing, audit trails, compliance. Let's begin with that. So I'm just opening my users now. So if you see the mind map, all my users are tied with user profiles. Let's park this user profile point for now. I'll start with users. If you see, as I explained, so users is the one who is going to interact with the system directly. If you see here, for each and every laboratory, I have created a particular user. For B12 laboratory, lab analyst, lab manager, and lab receptionist. For the same thing, like for KB2, lab analyst, manager, and receptionist. Why I have created different users for different users for these such things? Because we already predefined, so these are the set of activities which is going to be performed by lab analyst. These are the set of activities which are going to be performed by manager, and those are a separate person who is going to interact with the system. So that's why we have created a user as a separate users. There is a catch in creating this user. What is, there are two types of users. One is active directory users and the other one is local machine users. So what is active directory users? Most enterprise environment use active directory users, which means users are authenticated using their corporate domain credentials. We have active directory integration. I'll show you what is that. If you take the petroleum X directory, uh, I will get the list of users which is in this particular domain. If you see here, so these are the list of users which is in that particular corporate domain, petroleumx.com.vietnam. So while going forward, while creating the users, we will create this using this active directory only. But for now, we don't have the active directory user for ourselves for SNCC team. So what we have did is we have created the local users. I'll stop here. Mr. Zui, uh, can you convey to your team what is active directory?
Yeah, we are see your screen and we are discussing about it.
You can translate whatever Mohan has explained just now. And then, if you want anything to be repeated, let us know. Otherwise, then Mohan will continue.
So for the Active Directory part, do you guys need any further information so VDC can work with PLX to work it out and then gather information about it?
Yes, what we need for Active Directory is we need a user from this particular domain. Let's say for SNCC team, we don't have a user in this particular Petrolmex domain. Let's say you can see this primary mails, right? If there is any primary mail for a SNCC team or even the VDC team, which is going to be a common mail for testing the Active Directory, which will be helpful. Because if I don't know which user to create here, right? Going forward, you are going to collect all the list of users from the Petrolmex, who is going to be an analyst, who is going to be a manager, or whoever it is. But just for now, if you are able to ask from a Petrolmex a particular user or email address which is in this domain, so that we can test the Active Directory.
Thank you. Just wait me 1 minute and then I will talk to my team.
Yeah.
So can you write us a list and then send us via email or WhatsApp so we can like get the information, like to work out with our client?
Okay, so it's not a list of information. What is it? Yes, we can provide the list because we need a list of users. Because under manager, we don't know who is going to be the manager. Under what is it? Receptionist,
specialist
we don't know
or
who is
operator,
going
yeah.
to be a receptionist. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so we will giving you the list, or what is it, you will give the list for us who are all the users which is going to be under that particular shade, manager shade or laboratory shade. That will be helpful. That we will give you a template so that you can fill all these users, but that should be in sync with this primary email in this particular domain.
And here, Mohan, I think we need the VDC team also, right? Because they are also going to from our side also, and VDC team side also, we'll create a users.
Yeah,
for
that's what
timing,
I'm
for the
asking. Like we
development.
need a user, one user in this particular domain at petrolmex.com.vietnam.
Okay. And for VDC team and for us, we'll create a local user, or for them also we'll create another domain.
No, yeah, that's what I'm coming. Like this is about directory, Active Directory. I'll go to the next part, but I'll close with Active Directory. Okay. Are you
Thank
clear with
you.
this Active Directory? Can I go to the local user?
Yes, we clear on this. Can you continue to the local user?
Yes. So what is the benefit of this Active Directory is you don't need to create any local users. What is it? If I just created this particular user in this Active Directory, the login credentials of this particular user in his own Windows machine, that is enough for us, enough for them. That's why what is it? This Active Directory is helpful. Now I'll go to the local machine. So we came to understand that what is it? Users which are authenticated using their corporate domain credentials will come under Active Directory integration. Sorry, domain. But for the users like us, external users, let's say in some cases you may need users who are not part of your corporate domain, like the external partners, contractors, even lab consultants, like developers like us, implementation consultants like VDC and SNIC, may not be needed in this Active Directory, but there are temporary users, right? So they can be created in the local machine user. What is it? If I open it here, so this is nothing but the users which are available in my local machine. If I open my computer management, if you see here, these are my local machines, sorry, local users which I have created in my particular this 1.8 server. Analyst, manager, receptionist, analyst, manager, receptionist, and even this lim admin. What is it? Yeah, lim admin. So these are the list of local users which we don't have any credentials to this corporate domain. So that's why we have created these local users. Like we can call it as a temporary accounts. What is it? Test accounts, something like that. So what I did is we have created the local users first in my computer management, and then I have used the same credentials for creating the same users here. If I take the lab manager, B12 lab manager here, you will get to the username whatever you provided in the your computer management. For instance, I can show you this. You see here, my full name is KV2 lab receptionist, description is KV2 lab receptionist. I have used the same password, whatever the password we're using for this RDNL login. So I have used the same user which I have created in computer management, and I have used the same user to create it as a RDNL user. Can you convert it to them, Mr. Zoe?
Yeah. I'll translate to our team.
Yeah. Uh,
So for this section, we don't see like the user belong to what labs, and then the flow of the lab. We don't see it here yet.
no, it is user. I will direct you to the user profile. That is what the access, everything will come under the user profile. This is just whoever is using the system, you need to create it as a user here. Controls, access controls, workflow controls, module controls, everything will come under user profiles, which is going to be the next step, which I'm going to demonstrate to you. But I need you to understand what is the Active Directory and local user. Am I clear with my point?
Yes, we are clear. Can you continue?
Yes. Okay, so this is about the user. So what is the agenda of this user? So the agenda of the user is going to what is it? So agenda is the user. User is whoever is accessing the system will need a credentials and a particular user thing. That's what the user is meant for. Now we have seen the types of users: analyst, lab manager, receptionist for different labs. Now let's look at how RDNL controls where they are doing their user profiles. If you look at this particular section, user profile, each and every user will link to a user profile. User profile is nothing but a combination of similar kind of users. If I say what is a lab analyst, for instance, I have created only one user, that is KV2 lab analyst. So under my user profile KV2 lab analyst, I have only one user KV2 lab analyst. There might be several users, KV2 lab analyst 1, KV2 lab analyst 2, analyst 3 in real time scenario. But here I have created only one user against this user profile. So to sticking with your question and for the way of I'm explaining what this user profile is meant for. So I have a user. Why I need a user profile? Four things. One is grouping up the similar kind of users. Let's say in a lab, let's say I'm having a user profile KV2 lab analyst. There might be 5 lab analysts in the same lab, which is going to perform the same kind of activities. I will group the users in this same user profile, that is one, and I will control which modules the user can access. If you see here, there is an icon functional access rights. So against a user profile, I will have this functional access rights where you will control against a user profile which are the modules the user can access. For an example, formulation management, general, these are the high level modules. If you look at the granular level, administration notification, what is it? Do I need to, I'll, for the moment, I'll just pin it. So do I need to display the license expiry date, planned effective date for this particular user profile or not? Do I need to display the competence management or allow the user to create a new competence or not? To what is it? Do I need to allow the user to create a new life cycle, create a new life cycle version, open a life cycle, all these module access. If you see in the request level, because if you see in the request level, you can control everything, each and every button. Let's say these are the buttons: assign plates to request, edit request description, creating new request, opening a new request. All these modules can be controlled under this functional access rights. This is the point number 2. What you can do is, you under the user profile, you can able to control which are the modules the user can access, where like request management, specification management, quality management, under the quality management, sample management, workflow management, even granular amount of information. Let's say inside the sample management, do I need to assign, like do I need to give the user permission to assign or remove the existing samples, create a new sample, copy a sample? So all these controls will be in this functional access rights. Mr. Jui, can you explain this to your team? What is functional access rights under this particular user profile?
Yes, I will translate to my team and then we'll back.
Yep.
Mohan is it's Mr. Long.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yes.
No, nothing. Yeah, it's Long.
I'm forgetting this.
Yeah, I know.
We are clear on this part. Can you continue to next part?
Okay, so do you need me to visually represent how it is working, or do you understand? Because if you need a visual representation of this particular example, I can log in into an KVP lab analyst user and I can show you this. It's up to you.
Just one question for the KV2 lab analyst for
Okay.
the title at the top. What is
Okay.
this a user or a group of user?
Yes, that's what user is. What is it? I created in the same names, but user is might be KVT lab analyst 1, 2, 3, or 4. But whatever the access rights which you are giving against a group, KV2 lab analyst is a group now. We have
You can
to
consider as
assign
a
the users to a group, and for that particular group, we have to assign all these rights. For an example, if I go back to the user profile, I will convert it into users. I'll show here KV2 lab analyst. If I click this particular user profile, if you see here, this KV2 lab analyst user profile is linked to this KV2 lab analyst user. So you can create the user in the users, but all these access rights which will be defined under the user profiles.
there can be multiple analysts under one lab. All that
For an
analysts will
example,
be
I will show
assigned
lab
to
KV2 lab manager is a group. Under the KV2 lab manager, there are two users. One is lab receptionist and lab manager.
Okay, Mohan, that is creating confusion. We cannot keep receptionist and manager in one profile.
No, for the time's sake, I have kept it here because
I
we don't
understand.
know
Yeah,
how. Yes.
I understand, but that will create a bit of that is actually creating a bit of confusion
Okay.
for the people to when they are receiving
That's why
it,
I'm
right?
not
So they are
showing
seeing
this.
the
I'm just showing the lab
yeah,
analyst.
yeah. We'll keep it in lab analyst for now. Yeah, yeah. We can inform them. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Hi. Can you create like another user in the user group, like KV2 lab analyst, and then like I see one user at the bottom right. So can you create another user?
Yes, I can put another user. If you the moment you click this assign users in the rightmost corner, you can able to add n number of users. For time being, for the example, I'm adding this particular analyst here. So this analyst will have the access rights, whatever it is in this KV2 lab analyst user profile.
Mohan, can you create another user?
Oh.
Create one a new user and then assign it.
Okay.
If it
I
is
can do
possible.
it.
Yeah.
No, I can do this.
Yeah. You just create with the name. You don't put analyst or manager anything. You just create Mohan or Dhawal or like Mr. Long. You create Mr. Long as a
Okay.
user and assign it to the KV2 analyst role.
Okay. Okay. For that, I need to create a local user first
Oh.
in my local machine.
Is will it go more time?
No, it will not take much time.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I'm creating a user here. I'm creating Long as a user. I'm using the same password. I'm just like stating it as password never expires. Okay. Now what I did is I have created the user Long as a local user. Now I'm going to create that user in RDNL. If you see here, if I the moment I click the long, it provide me the domain, the what is the host name slash this user. I'll give the user a title, and I'm just going to create the user. So now if you see here, the user is created. Now I consider this Mr. Long as a lab analyst, particular lab analyst, KV2 lab analyst. What I need to do is like I'm just going to add in this particular group. Mr. Long as a KV2 lab analyst. Now Mr. Long will have the access of whatever which is defined in this user profile. It may functional, both functional and data access rights. I just explained only the functional thing. I'll go to the data thing. But is this the one which you are expected, Mr. Long?
Yes, yes. Thank you. We are discussing and then we'll back. That's what we expect.
Okay. Can you ask your team? Do you need
Yeah, they're
anything?
discussing.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
discussing more.
I'm
Okay.
Yeah. So we are clear on this part. Can you go into the next part?
Okay. So as like I said, there are three things totally. First thing is modules, function, that is what functional access rights against a user. So now I have defined the functional access rights. So for the same user profile, you have to define data access rights and workflow rights, like for life cycle. So like, what is it? I can direct you to this particular sample to explain what is data access rights. So whatever the modules user can access, that is what functional access rights. But inside the module, you need data to perform this, right? So whatever the actions they can perform in the data, read, write, that will be defined under data access rights. So data access rights will be defined under the each and every objects. For this moment, I'm taking an example of a request, that is an object again. So for each and every objects, if you see here, all these objects, for each and every object will have this access rights. This is what we call it as data access right. So here you can classify whether we need the read access or write access for that particular user profile. Is someone is saying something?
No, you continue on.
Okay. So firstly, you created users, you created user profiles, you provided the functional access rights in which the modules the user can access. But along with that, you have to define the data access rights under each objects. So this is going to be a very important point, because if you are creating just a functional access right, let's say you are giving this functional access rights for this particular user to to open a request. This will blindly give this access for this particular page only, but you need some data has to be displayed in this here. That is what data access rights is. So for that, under each objects, while creating the object, you have to create the access rights. So this is much more important because uh, the moment you created all these objects, and if you are adding any more user profiles, it will add your efforts. Because let's say I have created 10 objects, 10 request types with all my access rights predefined. But after creating that, you are coming and saying, oh no, I need a new user profile. For that, you need to go for 10 objects back, and you have to again add the access rights for each and every objects. Mr. Lang, do you get what is my point is?
Yes, I'm translating to my team.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are clear on this part. Can you go into the next part?
Okay, so this is the second thing, data access rights. The other thing is workflow rights. That is what. So we all aware that we will have a life cycle for sample, request, everything. So for whatever the life cycle which is going to be get created for the sample, or whatever the life cycles which we are going to use, it will have its own, flow. If you see here, this is the flow, right from initial to plan. So we will get to explain all these flows while explaining the sample. But if you see here, right from the starting stage, initial to planned, plan to available, this is nothing but the flow from one user to other user, or might be a same user. So all this workflow where in which they participate in, are they going to review it, or they going to do the action, or they going to change the status, all these has to be defined under the, all these user profiles has to be under this particular workflow in each and every status. If you see here, authorization, for an example, I'll take the planned state. There are two transitions right from the planned state. One is available and the other one is cancelled. I have meant it as manual. So for whom I gave the access to change this particular planned state to available or cancelled state? I have given the access to lab management, KB2 lab management and B12 lab management. We can define access to user specific or user profile specific. But here I have provided access user profile specific. If you see here, only these such users under these profiles will have the access to change the status from available to, planned to available. If you look at the next transition, available transition, there is a cancelled possible transition from planned to cancelled. So who is having those access to change the status from planned to cancelled? Again, lab management and lab manager and lab manager, B12 and KV2. Why this control is there? Because right from planned to some other state, only might managers need the access. No analyst or no receptionist we need access to change the status, because he is responsible for that particular action. So all those transitions, the user profiles has to be defined if there is a need. So for all workflows / life cycles, the against the statuses, If there is any transition applicable, user profile or user has to be defined.
Thank you. I will translate to my team.
Yep.
So we clear on this part. Please continue.
Okay. So these are the things about the user profile. So I'm just giving a recap about the users and user profile. So user is the one who is going to who is going to individual who interacts with the system. User profile is a combination of group of users in which you will give all those you will define all those access rights, and you will access and rights under the user profiles. Why I'm stressing this is, before creating any objects in this particular op center ordinal, we have to clearly define what are all the users and user profiles in the entire project. Because while creating this object, let's say I'll go to an object here. This is an test request, is an object. If you see here, I have defined the access rights for these such user profiles. I defined who has read access and who has write access. If you look at the sample under this request, there is an access rights for that. If you see here, everything each and every object will have its own access rights defined against the user profile under the objects. So before creating any such objects, we have to clearly define the user profile and users. The moment we created all the objects and we are adding a new user profile, then it is going to be an additional activity, and it is going to be a huge time consuming activity, because you need to go to each and every objects and create a new version and modify the user access rights. And it is applicable to life cycle also. So the moment you are creating the life cycle, you have to give this access rights for the user profiles. If you are doing at the last, then you have to modify the life cycle like this. Mr. Long, can you convey to your team what is the importance of creating the user profile at first before creating the objects?
All right, I will translate to my team.
Also, if you can explain for different labs how we are going to.
Yes. That will come under request.
Oh, okay. Oh, then okay, you can do more. Sorry.
Masilan, what do you suggest? Like how to control the data? Do we need to explain under the user profile or against the request?
Mohan, you'll have to repeat that again.
Oh, sorry.
Can you come again? I'm just
So-
listening. Actually, I mean, yes.
Yeah, got it. It's my bad.
Hmm.
Okay, so what is this? So we are going to control the data against each lab based on the user profile, let's say. Is it good to explain it under the user profile or under the request?
Yeah, good to explain under the user profile itself. That will make
Okay.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So we have a question like if you want to present user and then like we will put the user into the labs, like we have 17 labs. So
Yes.
we just want to see like how can we like put user into the destination labs that we want.
Yes. Yes. Got it. I got where you're asking. Okay. So for that, I'm just showing an example. So we are considering two labs now. One is B12 facility, the other one is KV2 facility. This is my admin account, admin RDNL user interface. So where I will create all the user profiles for all the labs, B12 and KV2 labs. Now, for the specific lab user, let's say for B12 lab analyst or B12 lab manager or even the B12 facility, while creating the request, I'll go to the request here. This is going to be my type of request across all the labs, but how I will control against a lab while creating a request. If you see here, against a request, I will have a tab called access rights. Better I can create a new version. Okay. So this is going to be my template. So for the what is a request type, sample types, all these are created as a template here. Now, while creating a test request, what my system will do for internal text request is we will remove the access rights for the unnecessary labs which don't need this access. Let's say while creating the test request for that particular lab, let's say KV2 lab, what our custom action which we are going to build will do is will remove these unnecessary lab what is a user profiles which they don't need the access for this test request, and it will provide only the access for the necessary user profiles under the each objects under a test request. So in that way, if I'm creating a request for KV2, because I know right from the SAP the location is KV2. So based on that, while creating the test request for KV2, what I will do is our system custom action will only give the access rights for its associated or user profiles like KV2 lab analyst and KV2 lab manager with its what is it, necessary access rights, read or write. So this is the way we are going to control the objects based on lab locations. I'll show you an example even, but I need you to explain that. I'll show the example how we are going to control it.
Mr. Long, are you translating?
Yeah, we are. I am translating.
Okay. And Mr. Long, the user profile will be created first for each lab. Then the users will be added anytime. User can be added anytime, but the user profile creation is important before creating the objects. The users can be added later on also, and user under the laboratories can be added, and it can be assigned to the user profiles. But profile should be finalized first.
Thank you. I'm translating to my team. Hi. So we want an example like we want to create another lab called KV1, and then can you create like three user, just like KV2, like analyst, manager, and management.
Yes, I can show you that. Okay, so this is my admin account. I'm just now logging as a KV2 lab manager. I logged in as a KV2 lab manager. Now I'm going to create a request.
No, Mohan, they want to. No,
Want to
not
create a
the
sample. Yes.
Yeah,
no, they want
I
to.
think you misunderstand my.
They want to
Okay,
create
so
a new user profiles,
oh,
Mohan. New lab,
okay, not
like not new. They don't want like not new
oh, new
sample
user profile.
assignment.
Sorry. I misunderstood.
Yeah, we
Okay.
want to create a KV1 lab and then like three user, analyst, manager, and management belong to KV1 lab.
Okay. Okay. So do you need to create the users also?
Yeah, user and user profile both. Yes.
Okay. So okay. I need to create the local users for that.
You can
Can I
just
use a new?
use my name or use your name also, Mohan. Use anything. Use Tim as a user.
So I'm creating a Tim as a user. Okay, I'm keeping Mr. Long and Mr. Tim as a users. For an example, in the lab KV2. Now
No, you need to create new KV1.
KV1. Okay. So these are the users in KV1. Let's say Tim and
Okay,
Long.
okay.
Do we need a new user? Let's say Mr. Dhaval as a user. I have created these users in local. Dhaval, Mr. Long, and Tim. Now I'm going to create these users in RDNL. Mr. Tim.
Tim.
Sorry. Do you need to mention asset as KV1 user or something else?
Okay.
Mr. Dhaval. KV1. Now I have created these users who belongs to KV1 lab. Mr. Tim Long and Mr. Dhaval.
Long I need
Now,
to change it. Long you assigned to KV2 analyst.
no, I can remove it from user profile.
Okay.
That's not
Okay.
under the users. If now I'm going to create a user profile for the lab KV2.
KV1.
Sorry, KV1. let's say KV1 lab, let's say analyst, or let's say, yeah. Okay, is this okay, Mr. Lo? KV1 lab analyst as a group?
Yeah.
Okay, now I have created the user profile. Now I'm going to assign the users under this KV1 lab. So who are the users? Mr. Dhaval and Mr. Long and Mr. Tim. The one thing you have to remember this, you should not keep any users common in the user profiles, because whichever, let's say you are keeping Mr. Long as a user in KVB lab analyst and also KVB one lab manager, it will take the whichever the user profile which has the access for everything. So for that purpose, I will do one thing. I will remove this Mr. in the KV2 lab analyst. I'll remove the Mr. LAN. Now I'm going to user profiles. Now I have created this KV1 lab analysts. Who are all the users in under this? Mr. Dhaval, Tim, and Mr. Long. So what are the functional access rights which I need? I will go here and I define all the functional access rights. If you see here, these are all the functional access rights. If I say I have this user should have the access to create a sample, copy a sample, whatever the needs. If I say they should not have the access to save a sample, I'll do all those functional access rights things. For the module level access, I'll do this and I'll save the access. Now I'll go to the object to assign the data access rights against the objects, and also I have to assign the user profiles against the life cycle. So before that, you can, if you need anything, I can explain, Mr. Long.
Yes, we are discussing. Yeah.
Okay.
How the object assignment and customization is done, it will today Mohan has explained. Tomorrow, once we explain the request and sample, you will get better idea. The customized part, maybe you can understand better tomorrow also. But yeah, user creation, user profile creation, if you have any doubt, let us know. And when we explain the customer, when you do the customization, when you explain the customization, you will get better idea, I think.
Okay, we clear. Thank you.
Should we continue?
Yes, please continue.
Okay. So why have said user profile has to be created first? Because if you see here in the objects, I have created already created some of my objects, but these objects doesn't have the data access rights for my newly created lab KV1. For that, I have to go and give again for all these objects, not only for this. For all these objects, I have to go individually one by one, and I have to give the access rights for all these objects which is created previously before the user profile creation. That's why I mentioned user profile has to be created first. To answer your question, how we are going to restrict the lab KV1 labs data in KV1 lab user and KV2 labs data in KV2 lab user. For that, I'll just go to my request. Request is nothing but my data. So I'll give you a picture over here. So what our custom API will do is, it will, the moment there is a request from SAP that create an internal test request in this particular location, KV1 location. So what it will do is, it will create the internal test request and it will modify the access rights. Let's say the moment my SAP is saying my location as KV2, I will remove all the unnecessary user profiles. Resulting, I will show you the user which is in the KV2. Okay, it's a KV2. Okay, that's fine. I'm just opening a request just to demonstrate. If you see here, so this is the 29th one, like hyphen 21 is the sequence which we have created now. If you see here, sequence 29 is this request which we have created through the, let's consider we created through a API, which is under this particular lab. What is this lab is? This lab is KV2 lab. This is what is this? KV hyphen 29. Because why, how it is appearing here? Because I have given the access rights to KV2 lab analyst and KV2 lab manager. But I will close this particular session and I will log in as a B12 lab manager or lab analyst. So the moment I log in as a B12 lab manager, I will not see that particular request hyphen 29 here. Sorry, my bad. I want to open the request. I will not see the hyphen 29 because it belonged to the lab KV2, not to the B12. If you see here, this is my B12 lab manager. How it happened is, my custom action or customized code will remove the access rights for those uh, labs which doesn't requires this data has to be viewed. The moment, for an instance, the moment I add this particular user profile here, if you see here, I'll save it, you will see the data here. The moment I refresh it, if you see the, can you able to see this data?
Yes.
Hyphen 29. Yes. So this is how we are going to restrict this particular data in between labs for internal test sample test requests. External test request is a different case. We will discuss that while discussing the requests and samples. But Mr. Long, do you get the idea how we are going to restrict the data based on lab locations?
Yeah, I will translate to my team and then I'll back.
Okay.
So we just have a question here, like for each request, you need to like uh you need to like assign each time you have a request, like if 1,000 requests at a time, so you need to like assign 1,000 times, right? Like for each
I
step.
okay. I believe you misunderstood it. So there are going to be 2 or 3 types of request types, right? Request types. I'm not saying about the request numbers. There are going to be an internal test request, storage, what is it, external test request, kind of test request. For those types of request, you will assign while configuring the system. What is mean by configuring the request is we will create a template for each and every request. If you see here, external text request, it is a template which is created already. Internal test request, which is a template which is created already. For that template, we will provide the access rights for all the user profiles. But in day-to-day activity, you are not yourself or myself are not going to create this request. Request will be automatically created by LIMS system via the data from SAP. What I'm saying is my LIMS system, we will create a custom code after receiving the response from SAP. Our system will delete this and provide the access based on the location. That's what I'm coming to say here. I'm demonstrating how it is going to get executed, but system will do this for internal test request, because requests will be created by LIMS by through the response from SAP, not by the users. So all these things will happen by LIMS system. This adding, deleting, those such action will be performed by LIMS system. Are you conveying, Mr. Long?
Yeah, I'm talking to my team.
Okay.
So we got clear this one. Can you continue?
Yes. So for internal test requests, automatically based on the location from SAP, our system will do this. But in case of external test request, because external test request is going to get created by the user who are using the system, maybe a lab receptionist or whoever is. Those in that case, you are right. For all the requests which is created inside the LIMS manually, user has to go and modify the access rights, because we don't know the location, anything, because it is going to get created manually in through the LIMS interface. So access rights has to be modified in the LIMS interface for external test requests. But for internal test requests, LIMS will automatically take care of this. I'll say how even, because this is going to be the daily procedure for creating the external test request. I'll say this is my type of request. I have a template created already in my system. My lab and receptionist or manager will click this button. A new request will get created, and with access rights for all the users. So whoever is creating the request has to modify this particular access for external test request. Yeah, you can explain. I'm parking my point here.
Yeah, we are discussing about this one.
Mon, documentation should we cover tomorrow? Should we, because I need to confirm these questions first.
Okay, let's finish this. Okay, it's your call. You can.
Yeah, let's. Because if you explain document, 2 hours will be over, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'll take 10 minutes for the document, I'll say. Okay, it's your call anyhow.
I'll ask long and then I'll come.
Yeah.
At the end, if we conclude the answers, we get the answers, then we'll at the end we'll complete the documentation.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Because that time will also be up at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
So if they extend, we'll extend. Otherwise, tomorrow.
Understood. Understand. Yes. If you are able to start the question with this user things, that will be a great deal.
Yeah.
So can you continue on the demo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Long, okay, sorry, Mohan, I think do you
Yeah,
need to
good, good.
you completed, right?
Yeah, I do completed this
Yeah.
user things.
Mr. Long, so user profile and user creation and how we are going to manage the access right. I hope it is clear. Tomorrow, once we go through the sample and request creation, it might create clear more. But I hope like user creation, user profile creation, importance of user profile creation, and access right providation. 3 types of access rights. How to assign it to different user profiles and users. I think is it clear? Is it clear, Mr. Long?
Yes, yes, clear.
Okay. So yeah, for this demo is like yeah, for the user profile demo is completed. Now we have some question like there is one thing we also thought of considering, but we'll at the end if we have time we'll consider. Otherwise we'll show it tomorrow in tomorrow's session. But we have some question. Can we continue with that? Because we have only half an hour time now.
Yes, please ask your question.
Okay. Mohan, can you stop presenting your screen?
Yes.
So according to you have provided one document where you have shown us the user profiles. So if you can see, this was the document which you have provided. User profile is one is headquarter, basically, which is admin account, manager, supervisor, and specialist. So according to this, headquarter is okay. Manager is also understanding. Specialty is also we got that idea. The problem is when we are going through the process document which you have created. So according to that process document, we figured out there are 4 types of. First of all, okay, there are this headquarter we are keeping as it aside right now because it's a super admin account. This is a separate user profile. But when we come to the functioning of the laboratories, there we have figured out a 4 roles. But here we see a 3 roles only. And also in the from the 3 roles, this role we haven't seen anywhere. But these 2 roles are only being part of the document. And there are other 2 roles which are being part of the document. So if you can see here, what we have done is for an internal process document, we have created this according what is the roles of the users and what are the functions they are performing. So we have separated out. So according to that, there is a user which is manager who will be assigning like from creation to the from the creating of the request and assignment of the parameter to assigning the samples to the uh, to the specialist and checking the request results also and approving the results also. All the activity will be done by manager. There are other 2 roles where one is sample collection operator. So in the process flow of internal sample test process, in the sample collection process, we have figured out there is a profile or there is a special character which is available which collects the sample from the like from the receptionist or which will collect the sample. Then there is a uh, operator which collects the sample in the which is receiving the receiving operator basically, which is collecting the sample in the laboratory. And there is another user profile which performs the testing, which is operator or specialist which is testing the samples and which is updating the results. Now this document sorry the profile document, this document and the process flow document is creating a confusion that how many user profile we need to consider for each laboratory. So can you clarify more on this?
Just 1 second. I will translate to my team and then I'll give you back the answer.
Yeah, you let me know which screen I need to open. If you need any reference for that, you let me know.
So for the voluntary, we are merging supervisor and manager in only one role as manager. So that's answer your question.
Okay, supervisor and manager is one role. What is about this sample collector and sample receiving role?
Sample collector and sample receiving roles both are specialists.
Okay, so sample collection and sample receiving as both is a specialist only.
Are specialists only.
Then why in the document it is used as different terms? It is creating a confusion and it is creating like delays in the process, because in one place it is defined different, one place it is different. Is it a translation issue or like, because in if you see there in the process flow document there are different wordings is being used for different roles. Here it is mentioned select operator or external organization assigned to take the sample for testing. So that as also we have discussed previously, there are like external system like external persons who are handling or taking the sample and putting into the laboratories. But the operators which do the testing or the like specialists which do the testing is a different person. So is it same? Should we consider it same or do how should we consider this?
Yeah. We'll give back to answer in a minute.
Okay.
So for this question, can you comment into the document and then we will give answer into the document because like sometimes the termination will like misunderstand between the translator or like yeah.
Okay. Because this is creating a confusion while because now we need to finalize the user profiles because we are going to start developing the user profiles and we need to finalize this. So and also in terms of roles and also in the FDS or TDS document, we need to finalize this. So it is big creating a confusion. So we'll comment it out and then you can give a confirmation. For right now, the confirmation is supervisor and manager you are considering as a one role. So we don't need to create a separate supervisor as a user profile. Manager one single user profile is sufficient. Between these two, only one user profile needs to be created, which is manager. Can we conclude that? Or do you want to have an internal discussion before that? Or do you want to have a confirmation with the customer?
We have some internal discussion and then yeah we're back.
Okay, okay, long. And one is this manager and supervisor, another is specialist, sample collection, and sample receiving operator. These are the three things. So you please discuss internally also that, and we will wherever we are feeling, we will also have comment it out. But you please, even if we are, if we, yeah, we will send it in the document. But you please also with this discussion, manager supervisor discussion, you don't wait until our comments on the document. Please discuss on the specialist and sample collection operator and laboratory sample receiving operator also roles also. Can you have that internal discussion, Mr. Long?
We are discussing about this one.
Yeah, okay.
So for the role supervisor and manager, like it's depend on the labs. Some labs will have supervisor, both supervisor and manager. The supervisor may not work with labs, but they have the right to like approve for test sample and or like other thing related to the labs. So yeah, this could be both the ranking in one lab, but like some labs only have one.
But in the documentation, you never you have not mentioned anywhere supervisor. All of the place it is mentioned only manager. So how we are going to differentiate? Because life cycle will be created for us all the labs. It will not be a different life cycle for a different labs. So please understand, if there is a approval procedure or if there is a parameter assignment procedure, if we assign it to the manager, it will be in all the labs, the life cycle will be similar. It will go through the lab. So only we create the user profile of manager, then approval procedure will only go to the manager user profile. It will not go to the supervisor, because if supervisor is there is no role, because in if you are telling me in one lab it is there, in one lab it is not there, it will not make sense. We need to take that decision right now, because tomorrow, like you are telling, one lab there is one manager and there is one supervisor. So manager will test the manager will create the sample and assign the sample, but supervisor will test the results. But in another lab, the manager will create the user a sample also, assign the sample also, and it will also check the review the test also. So now then according to labs, we can create different life cycles, right? We need to create a life cycle for single life cycle for all the labs, because the procedure is similar for all the labs. If you are going to create the life cycle for all the labs, then according to life cycle of the approval procedure or whatever procedure, wherever we need the interaction with the manager or manager profile, then it will be one thing we need to conclude. Maybe this will clarify this, you will get more clarity when tomorrow Mohan explains the life cycle and each and every steps of life cycle, when he explains that, and what are the importance of each step of life cycle and what are the procedure of each step of life cycle, then you might get a better understanding here. But yeah, then you can tomorrow you can give us the confirmation, or day after tomorrow you can give us the confirmation. But you need to it will be difficult, it will not be difficult, but it will be complex if we are keeping in one lab this is a thing, in one another lab this is a thing, because we are creating a design for all the labs unified. That's why I'm raising this concern. Your customer
Yeah,
also
that's
mentioned they want to unify this process. If it is possible, whatever demo we have given today to you, everything is ready in the development environment. If you want, we can also have a session with customer, or you can, your VDC team can have a session with customer. You can show it to the customer and you can explain the importance of the profile, and also take a decision on this manager and supervisor and all the profiles, which are the, if you give this understanding, if you give the demo to the customer, Petrolemax customer, then they'll also get an understand what is the user profile and what is the importance of user profile role. Then they can also give a clear expectation. If they can, you can set the clear expectation with the customer also.
Yeah, we're discussing. So for the manager and supervisor, uh, I think we need to keep it because after we working with our client, the both role are like important to PLX. So I think we cannot like put down another role. So I think the best is keep both supervisor and manager.
But supervisor, where we are going to use the supervisor in the process document, in the document which you have provided, there is no supervisor. There is only manager who is doing all this job. Whether it is assignment sample or whether it is testing the whether it is reviewing the result, all of that places the manager is only being playing a part there. There is no supervisor. Where we are going to use, even we will create the user. We don't have issue. We will create the user. Where we are going to use the supervisor in the life cycle. Creating only user will not, user profile is not only the thing, right? User profile is needs to be being used somewhere. But in the according to life cycle design, if you are going to design one life cycle for each laboratory, what I am telling you is for the 17 laboratory for internal sample testing, if I am going to create one life cycle, in that life cycle, the approval procedure will be handled by manager. The test request or test result reviewing also by done by manager. Then where the supervisor will be used.
Hello,
Yes.
Dhaval.
Yes, sir.
So, so there is a misunderstanding or miscommunication or mistranslation which may lead for this confusion, right? So, what we would suggest is you go through the same process document, take only this internal survey sample, you see all the process flow that is being defined in the current document, right? So from there only we have extracted and we have kept that particular use case diagram. And right now all the mapping is happening against the
Bảo
manager.
là trong tài liệu quy trình thì không có vai trò supervisor nào được đề cập. Vâng.
Nên có cái phần đấy ở đây trong tên lệ quy trình.
Em giải thích cho nó.
Vâng.
Super manager thì nó có phải là manager, nhưng mà đi thực tế khảo sát ấy, thì nó lại sẽ có phát sinh như thế này.
Và là chỉ tạo profile thôi là chưa đủ, profile đấy cần phải thực sự được dùng trong cái life cycle của hệ thống. Nếu hướng nó bảo là nếu hướng đến một việc thiết kế một cái quy trình chuẩn áp dụng cho toàn bộ 17 phòng thí nghiệm ấy, thì cho việc test mẫu nội bộ thì cần xác định rõ vai trò nào thực sự được sử dụng. Nếu mà supervisor không xuất hiện trong life cycle thì việc tạo profile đấy là không cần thiết. We have one question if like every responsible like put into manager, so for the approve and receive the result, so can we like put the responsible into like one single person?
See, it is feasible long. See, as long as it is something that we are configuring, right? So it is everything is possible, but we will have to be very much clear about what is the process is being followed or need to be followed. Otherwise, it will create confusion when we are deploying the solution. So for that only we are making this simple representation. The same diagram will be available in the FDS also, in the functional design document also. And the basis of this particular diagram it is our process document that we are currently using, that 1.8. So if we are unclear about the profile itself, right, then there will be, number of mismatch will be coming when we are defining all this life cycle, because not all the functionality access rights will be available to all of the users, right? So we may have to restrict certain things from use supervisor, and we'll have to provide certain other things to manager. So usually what happens if we are talking about approver, so we will have a separate user profile called approver. And in that approver user profile, we can add more users. We can add anybody, right? So a person can be assigned to that particular approver. It need not to be a manager or supervisor. So that can be handled, right? So your use case can be handled. But in other nodes, it is important to have the clear cut idea about what is our scope and what exactly is the flow that needs to be followed, and who are all the users will be involved, because we are about to create the system for them. One significant example I can say, all this profile, all this users that is been highlighted here will be having their own homepage, right? So the home page, from there the options will be available for them to look at only their data, not others data. But if you do not even know how much different home page that we are about to create, then it will be in a problem when we are deploying the solution. So that is the criticality of it, right? So just to go through the document once and let us know what exactly has to be followed. If some of the terminology need to be changed, then change it, because sometimes the problem might be coming from the translation point of view. I would request you to personally see it once and it doesn't have any translation issue. So then you share it to us, so that it will be better for us also be in the same line.
Can you comment into the document and then we can review it, and then we will like review and finalize the document.
I understand. See, Lang, I understand. We can command it, but if we cannot, if something is wrong that we can able to identify, then we can command. But whether the supervisor need to do or not, that we cannot identify, right? Because it is a process, and we cannot command on the process. You got it. If there is a mismatch between two sections, we can highlight. But if the process itself, whether the process is right or wrong, we cannot validate. Only Petrolomics can validate.
VDC can validate.
Yeah, I mean, yes, VDC can validate, yes, or Petrolomics can validate, because we have not encountered and made any discussion with the Petrolomics regarding any of the process. So whatever that you are providing, we are assuming that is correct. So when it comes to process, in order to avoid this translation based issue, I would request somebody who knows English in VDC to go through the documents once and made sure that all the translation made as per the intended one, right? We cannot afford a problem over there, and we were not able to command also. That's the biggest issue here. So what we can suggest in our FTS, in the functional document, we will update this use case diagram for all the section. So you go through that once, and if there is a command, if you can ask, right, why manager is doing everything, because you know the process. In that case, we can have a joint discussion and find out why. And from either you will have to completely run through an English version, or you will have to see our document and give your command. Right. The second route is that is a bit lengthy route, but we have no other choice than if that is the case. So yeah.
So after you read the document, if anything you misunderstand or misinformation, you can like list it down, and then we can have some discussion and talk about it. And then like after we talk about it, we can talk to the customer as PLX, and then try to define or like to clear any misinformation or anything.
I understand, Long, but it is a time-taking process. See, right now we are already delayed in the blueprinting, right? So, and looks like that VDC has never showcased this particular FTS to Petrolamex. Then it is a problem, right? So, what we can say? So, based on your commands, we have updated this FDS and we have given to you, right? So now we want you to go through and you give us the feedback. You tell us what all the things are missing or what are the things that need to be added, or what are the, other representation that you want to see, so that you can able to convince the customer, convince Petrolamex, right? So we are awaiting for that particular activity, and as soon as possible we want you to go through this to Petrolamex in order to, in order to bring back the blueprinting timeline. Otherwise this is a very time consuming activity, and we will end up doing the same thing again and again for next 2 months.
So we are working on the FDS document this week, but only in Vietnamese version. So after we translate it to English, we'll send it to you guys.
Okay. I mean, that means that you are working on those commands, I believe, right? So in the FTS, and yes, if there is a commands, and if whatever the documentation that you are currently updating, please let us know as soon as possible, so that we don't redo many things, right? So even for the demo, right now we have started up with all this demo and configuration, and if we are not clear about the scope itself, right? So that is going to take amount of energy from us, right? So we are unnecessarily doing the wrong configuration. So the time is wasting basically. So we would request you to do that activity as soon as possible, so that we can close all on this topic.
You can have the discussion with Predator. You don't need to wait until us to put the comment or put anything in the FDS document. You can have this discussion with the Petrolmax customer, right? What do you then? They have mentioned they need a manager and supervisor role, but you are mentioning in some laboratories they have manager, in some laboratories they have supervisor. So you can get that clarified. Explain the importance of user profile. Today you have understood that. You can process it, and if you also want and have a demo with the customer, have a demo with customer. If you want us to have a demo with customer, we can demo also, because we can part of it. You can demo to the customer, and then you can answer a question the customer whether they need a manager and supervisor both, or they need only one, or even if they need both, then are we going to clear for all the create all of them for all the laboratories, this profile for all the laboratories.
So for the two roles, the manager and supervisor will apply to some of the labs, not all of them.
Lúc đấy thì ông supervisor thì mình sẽ
In sub laboratories, you have a different role. In some laboratory, all of the jobs will be done by manager. That I already got, Mr. Long. What I'm telling you is, according to this explanation of life cycle and according to the explanation of user profile, if it is clear and we are going to make one life cycle for all the laboratories, then we need to decide whether we will go with the manager and supervisor, whether we will go only with manager. You create two users, one is manager, one is supervisor, but you assign it to manager user profile only. But we need to clarify this, we need to conclude on this. Then we can start the activity of user roles creation in the development environment.
So for this,
Mm-hmm.
1 second. For this, we want to both keep the manager and supervisor. However, the manager will the approving test results will put into supervisor. So do you get it?
Can you repeat it again?
So like we want to both keep the manager and supervisor. However, like the approving test result from the manager will put it into the supervisor.
Okay, but in the lab, one question. If there is a laboratory where only manager is doing all this job, then the user view we create, it will be one, but it can be part of two profiles, right? One is the same as example, if Mr. Long is manager in laboratory B12, then he can be part of both of the roles, manager and supervisor. That should be a different user. Correct, Mohan?
Yes. Correct.
Mr. Long, are you discussing internally?
Yeah, we are discussing internally.
I'll be back in 1 minute.
So like to separate user or like can assign multiple roles to one user. This like so like tức là bây giờ so if like for a lab there's only one manager, so this person would need like both supervisor and manager. So do you get me?
Okay, okay. So you are saying manager and supervisor are same.
So like manager will not have the approving test result. The approving test results will assign to supervisor, but like in a lab, there's only one person who approves the test result. We
Okay,
will assign both supervisor and manager for that person.
understood. But in case of LIMS, do you need these such roles has to be differentiated, or we can consider supervisor as a manager? In LIMS, do you need a user profile for manager who is going to responsible for managing tasks, approving test results, and a user profile supervisor who is going to review the and approving the test results? Two different user profiles. Do you need that, or it is like a combined manager user profile which will do all these activities, including the supervisor activity?
This the both roles are differentiated. So like manager different from supervisor. So like they are separate roles.
Okay. Okay. So you are saying in lab, manager has to log in his system. So in reality, there is only one person. Manager has to log in into the system as a manager and has to approve the test results. And he has to log out from the same because he is a single person. He has to log out from the user profile, and he has to log in into the supervisor role, and has to review and approve the test results. Is that what you are expecting? Because he is the same person. He needs two different access, two different phases. Is that what you are saying?
We will create two user profiles. We don't have a problem, manager and supervisor. But then there will be a different person, right? One will be manager and one will be supervisor.
No, that's what he's saying. It is a single person. That's why I'm asking. If it is a single person, he has to log in into his manager role for
in
approving
one lab,
results.
yeah, in
Yeah.
one lab it is
So like
one person, in another lab it is two person.
Oh.
so like one person but with two profiles. Like one person but like they he is both manager and supervisor.
Okay. Okay. But in that case, is it comfortable to log in into two different RDNL user interfaces and do those activities? Is it okay for him? Because it's a generic thing, right? It's not specific to lab. It is a general process. If you are saying now for one person it is like this, one lab it is like this, the other lab it is different like this, then we are not following the single process for all the labs.
Hi, Davan.
Yes.
Is it possible that one user can be assigned with two different user profile?
Yes, Tim, you to answer
One
question,
user,
yes. But
yeah,
what will
same
happen
lab.
is, yeah, one user can assign with two different user profile, but
Yeah.
it is not a best practice. Why? Because let's say one user profile is an analyst user profile, other user profile is a manager user profile. What system will consider
I understand.
the higher level user profile, not the lower profile
The
user
case
profile? It
here,
will,
the use case here is one user can be both manager and supervisor in one lab.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. But what will be the
Because
case is he can access the manager thing and he can access the supervisor thing. But
yeah,
the problem will, yeah, yes, the the problem will come while defining the what is this life cycle for this, because it's a single life cycle we are going to use for all the labs. That we can check it, Tim. That we can check it. We'll try it and check
yeah.
it and confirm back. That
Okay.
is
And
a
can you please also confirm this with customer, Mr. Long, I mean Tim?
Tim.
Because can you explain this to customer? Customers also understand, because we are
Yeah.
streamlining the process for all the 17 laboratories. Yeah, customer has put the requirement for the manager and supervisor. We understand that, but you can also brought this point to them and get the clarify, explain them this process. Why we are asking for one thing, because we want to streamline the process, and we are streamlining the process by creating one life cycle for all the laboratories. That's why we are asking this.
Yeah, yeah. We will discuss with the customer and give you last confirmation.
Yeah. And also, I suggest Tim, you like how we have done a demo. This is all available in the development environment. From your side, if anyone wants to give a demo to customer, or if you want us to give a demo, we will also can also give a demo. Or if you want to give a demo and we want to you want us to be a part of the demo, we will be helpful to that. Please have that demo with customer. I suggest you have the demo with customer, so customer also get that understanding how the DIM system works, and they'll also get some confidence over the system, and then they can ask this question.
Team just have another meeting. I'm sorry, but like
No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, we will discuss this internally and then we get back to you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
I suggest
Mr.
Long, you have a
Long,
demo with customer. Yeah.
additionally, Long and Tim, you are both here. We need a multiple user for this application server because we are having only one user access. Even for the demo purposes, if there are multiple users, we can log in with different user profile and we can show it. Even for development activity, we need because you might be using the system. VDC might be using the system for the what is it, checking and training. We want to develop it. So if it is possible to create multiple users in the application server, it would be helpful. Currently, it is only one user for the application
We need to
server.
separate out the users for VDC and SNIC. We need to dedicate that users, I think, right now, Mr. Long. You can discuss internally. We'll raise this over the email also. Currently, because Mr. Mohan was working also, and from your side, I think someone was logging also. And they both are using same login IDs. So one was kicked out if one is logging. So we need to separate out the logins for SNIC and VDC team, and probably for the customer also. And for this server, same server, we might need to increase the number of user IDs which can log in at the same time. I think it was 5 or 6 at the time of discussion.
No, currently for application server level, it's one. Some server
Yeah,
there are
we need to
multiple.
reduce. We need to increase it, right? We will raise
Yes,
it
it
to
is.
more. We'll raise it to
Yes.
the email.
Because Tim is here, that's why I'm asking.
Mr. Long, have you understood this? Have you understood what you're asking?
Might be he's discussing.
Account will work with POX to get more accounts to the server.
Okay. Just a minute. Now, can we move to the next question?
So do you have any other question on the roles?
No, right now, not. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can move to the next question.
Okay, can you see my screen?
You can see your screen.
Can you see the SAP LIMS question Excel file?
Yes, we can see the SAP and LIMS question.
Okay. So as you have given us the document, so I have just created. We want an disk. We want. So this one example I have created. I will share this example. One example is for SAP to LIMS. Another example is for LIMS to SAP. So for this the function, for this particular integration process, whatever is the requested item data is which is required. So if I go to this, if this is the requested item, we want a description against it. So basically, for an example, for the QT 2.1, let's say these are the request items. So if first is sample ID generated from SAP. So what is the format of the sample ID, and how we can identify that this is a sample, like internal sample or internal service sample, or the storage sample, first thing. So if you can provide us the description. Then lot ID from SAP. So what is the lot ID and what is the purpose of the lot ID? Why we want to like how we are going to give us what is the lot ID basically, and why we are sending it from SAP to LIMS. Then laboratory name. So we want a list of the lab name which you are going to provide us. If the laboratory names are fixed, then the sample status. So you are mentioned assigned, pending, and dash 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 dash. So which are the sample list of sample status? Which are the statuses? Can you give us the list of statuses? Then request dated time. So is this request dated time is creation from LIMS, or is it created from SAP? When the request is created and you want to send it through SAP to LIMS, and just LIMS needs to save it, or LIMS needs to generate this ID date and time when the request is being created in LIMS system. Next is assignment test section ID. So what is assignment test section ID, and what is the purpose of this assigned test section ID? This we already know. Checksum is a unique ID. This we have already explained in the SAP integration previous document which you have provided. So this is okay. Likewise for LIMS and SAP, we are sending this data. So obviously for same we need a description. So sample test ID, we can understand it is a sample ID which is coming. Then what is contract code? What is contract code, and what is the purpose of the contract code? So I just my bad. I have just
So for your question, this one, do you have the file, the newest file on the SAP and LIMS integration?
yeah. This is the
Yeah,
new file.
for 2.2, yeah, that information I believe is in the column G response. Uh, no, I'm sorry, it's F request.
Cross ID, like request ID.
Yeah, but here I need a description against this. So test sample ID, okay, I understand that is just a sample ID, but how we are going to understand whether it is an internal from the test sample ID, how we will differentiate whether it is a sample storage sample or internal sample, or because in the internal sample there are three types, correct? Internal sample, storage sample, and the internal service sample. So how we are going to differentiate it? Then there is a request ID from SAP. So what is the request ID and what is the purpose of it? Then sampling unit code. What is the sampling unit code, and why we need to import into LIMS?
So like almost to the end of the box, you see the sample type group, internal samples, internal service samples, and set samples. Like just before the checksum. Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is yeah. If that is coming from SAP, then okay, that is clarified. The test sample ID I got. Yeah. You can put this. Like against this, you can put the description that already it is coming from SAP. But what is the sampling unit code? What is the purpose of the sampling unit code? Or what is the request creation date and time when it will be like from is it going to be created from SAP or is it going to be created in LIMS? Then sample source code. Then what is the sample source code? A sample quantity. Okay, sample quantity we can understand, but is the sample quantity is against each sample or one sample? Unit of measurement we can understand. Sample type is also okay. We are explaining the sample type. Sampling method code. So what is the sampling method code? What is this? Or what is the purpose of this? Then laboratory code. Are this field like sample method code and laboratory code, the values will be coming from SAP, and or are they going to according to this it is coming from SAP only, but it will be filled from SAP or usually going to fill from manually basically. And like same as that requesting unit ID. So what is the requesting unit ID? Is it what is the purpose of it? Same as that, if you come to SAP to LIMS to SAP, which is this, here there are like description is required more because like customer code. So where from where the customer code will come, or like user is going to manually fill it, or it will be going against the sample, it will be coming from SAP. What is contract code? From where the data will come? What is the laboratory code? Is it customer, like for internal it might be coming from SAP, but for external are you going to put that or user is going to put it in the laboratory code? This test results are test results. It's so we can understand this. We don't need description on this. The person who is performing the test. So is it going? Do you need this person from against each parameter, or can there be a different parameters? A different person can be testing it, and is it going to be filled by the tester or specialist who is doing the testing? And this test execution time. So this is like system is it should be a system generated, or someone will put this date time, how it is going to be, how you want to be.
So for all the API question, can you comment into the document and then like send it via WhatsApp or email so can like put comment on we can
Yeah, I
put
am
on
going to
comment on
share
it.
this. I am going to share the one example. Do you need a question for all of that? Should I create a question for all of this, or one example? If I share it, it will be sufficient. You can share it other example. For others, you can like just follow the same procedure and give us the data. Do I need to send the question for each of the process code, or if I am going to send this document where it is containing one example, then from one example, can you prepare for all of that? Mostly most of the things will be many of the things will be repeating, so you can describe it. You don't have a problem. You can put the same comment if it is same, like if it is material ID here, material ID here, so it is same material ID. If it is request ID in this and request ID in this, it is similar, then it's okay. There will be a same description. So there will be a lot of fields which will be similar in many of the processes, so that is fine. But I'll share one document for your reference with the question. Can you follow that and give me that answer for the requests, all the process codes for all the APIs? This will basically this description will give us the clarity on the developing of the APIs and Unilink files. Basically, it will be give us the more clarity and helpful for us to create the APIs and Unilink files basically.
So for this for the API question for like if you don't understand any line of API, you can put the question next to it and then we will answer it.
Okay. I'll share this document for your reference, and I'll also share this document against which API we want a question. We'll put that also. We'll put the question mark. Then you can put the description. Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah, so if you don't understand any API, just put a question mark or any comment on it, and then we will get back to you with an answer on the API.
Can you give us the description against this each request? I'll give you the question. But you can provide the answer for the fields, right?
You can put the question and then we can provide the answer for the fields.
Okay. I have another question in the process flow. But I need to jump in another meeting. Can I send you over the email?
Yeah, if you yeah, you can send all the document over the email, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay. Tomorrow we'll have a session on the further demo. So whether we'll have it in the early morning, whether we'll have it in the morning or in the second half, I'll let you know in by end of the day.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks
I hope the
everyone for
session is
the meeting.
helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.